The famous American writer, O. Henry, probably you know. And the famous story, The Last Leaf. Everybody familiar with that? Oh, I thought I'm the only one in Jerusalem doesn't know the story. I'm kidding. So in that story, you can look it up tonight, read it, 7 pages long. As any teacher would do. O. Henry told a story that one year, at the end of fall and the beginning of winter, in Washington, he didn't clarify. So, as a Vietnamese guy, I was like, was it Washington, D.C. or the state of Washington? Whatever. We know that it's cold because at the end of fall and the beginning of winter. And in that year, in that place, in that county, pneumonia was around and people was infected. So many people died because of pneumonia. In one small room, there were 2 friends, Sue and John C., I think. The other name I forgot. And one of the 2 got sick, and she was contracted pneumonia. And from her bed, she looked out the window, and there was a tree outside. And remember, fall. The sister from New Jersey will know right away what I'm talking about. The leaves are falling. And the person who is sick also lost her hope. In bed, she looked out at the window and she kept counting how many leaves are there on the trees. 100, 50, and then the next day dropped down 20. And now it's so few that she was able to count 19, 18, 15, 5, and go quick. 3, 2, and then 1. And she turned to her friend and she said, tomorrow, when that last leaf fall, I would die. Hearing that story at night, the friend couldn't sleep and she called in an artist that night. The man came in and after carefully do a research, observe the window and the wall outside. That night, the male artist decided to put out the ladder, climb up by the height of her window, and threw on the wall opposite of her window a leaf. And he did so well that the next morning when the girl woke up, the first thing she did was open the window, asked her friend to open the window so she could look out the window. And there it is, the last leaf still there. And she said, oh, the last leaf is still here. I am still alive. But one thing that she didn't know, that last night when she was sleeping, the artists were trying to draw the leaf on the wall. He contracted pneumonia. And the next morning, when the girl was exclaiming, I am alive, the artist died. Someone told me that this story is not good. It's not just a good piece of literature, but also good to use it to demonstrate the love of Jesus. Sacrifice his life for us to live. You agree with that? Is that theological? I would say no. I would say no. Here's the reason. The male artist gave the girl a hope, the last leaf, by drawing on the wall. But that hope, first of all, is a fake one. The leaf is fake. It's not a real one. After a while, the girl would figure it out. Because the leaf doesn't move when the wind blows, right? The second reason, the girl is going to die, no matter what. The hope may enlighten her life for a day or 2 or a week, or maybe a month, but eventually she's going to die. Like any of us sitting here in the chapel tonight. The hope that Jesus gave is different. It's a real though. It's real because the event that he resurrected from the dead is real. And at the beginning, and when I was driving Father George to the church tonight, and Father George said, preach short. And I said, Come on, I spent the whole day to reflect and prepare, and what are you talking about? We're going to go short. No way, Father George. But also because of the sake of tonight, we have some people going to be baptized and confirm and receive the sacrament of initiation. So I would love to use this chance to explain to you that the event that Jesus resurrected from the dead is not only a real event, happened in space and in time, but it's already well recorded. And we just don't believe in something vague and we imagine or we draw the wall like that fake leaf. But it's real. Let me prove it to you. If you go open the book, the Bible, the thick one, and just flip to the middle one and find the 4 books of the Gospels. All 4 of them, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, recorded one important thing: the empty tomb. The women came to look for Jesus in the first day of the week, and they found an empty tomb, as I just read to you. So Matthew recorded that the big stone already be rolled back, and when they came in, the tomb was empty, right? But this detail doesn't prove anything, does it? Because just say, well, the place where Jesus was buried was empty, and say Jesus resurrected. It's hard to believe. Because people can interpret different way. For example, if we continue to read the Gospel of Matthew, we see the Pharisees and the people at the time of Jesus say, wow, the disciples of Jesus go and stole the body of Jesus and just spread the news that Jesus resurrected. Right? Or even if we read the Gospel of John, Mary Magdalene went back. She found the empty tomb and she went back and she told the 2 disciples, Peter and John, that somebody took the body of Jesus. So the empty tomb does not prove it. However, if we look through this argument, it doesn't stand. For example, Mary probably didn't understand what, but the disciples stole the body of Jesus. Impossible. For this reason, after the death of Jesus, they were scared to death. If you read the Acts of the Apostles, they locked themselves up in the room because they are afraid of the Jews. You think that in their scared, shaking, they're going to go into the tomb and steal the body? No, right? And if you read the Gospel of John, when the disciples went into the tomb, they found that the cloth that used to wrap up his body was rolled up and set in different places. If you go and steal something, will you spend time and, let's say you break into the safe of the church. After you open the safe and you take out the money, you're going to go in back and lock it carefully and lock the door of the church? Are you going to do that? Not of course, no. So that argument doesn't stand, right? And also, what is the purpose of stealing the body? I don't know. So that argument. However, the empty tomb is not enough to prove that Jesus resurrected. Here's the second proof. That Jesus appeared to many people. All 4 Gospels recorded many times Jesus appeared to the people, beginning from the women. Why? I don't know. But I tell you one story, real one, happened this morning. When the women were decorating the church here, no man showed up. So even Jesus appeared here, they were not here. Right? I don't know the reason, but first of all, Jesus appeared to the women. And then Jesus appeared to the apostles. Begin from the 2 disciples on the road to Emmaus. And then appeared to the group of 12. Now they have 11. Judas hung himself up. But they still call the group of 12, the name of the group of 12. The first time Jesus appeared, there was a guy who was not there. His name is Thomas. He probably hung out somewhere, doing some sort of personal business. So Jesus appeared to 10 guys, and eating and drinking with them. And then he appeared again to the same group, and now the second time Thomas was there. And Jesus told Thomas, put your fingers in here. Where's your finger? Put it in here. And then Jesus appeared again to Peter and John on the Sea of Galilee and questioned Peter, do you love me? And then St. Paul in his letter to the Corinthians said, another time Jesus appeared to a group of 500 people. And then finally he appeared to me, Paul wrote, St. Paul wrote. And yes, on the road to Damascus, Paul was struck down by a light. And in that light he heard a voice, Saul, why do you persecute me? So Jesus appeared many times to different groups of people, right? But okay, this is the third evidence that when we put all these two together, we will have the solid foundation of Jesus' resurrection. Look at the life of the people who seen the resurrection of Jesus. Among the group of 12 disciples, Judas flung himself up there and talked about him. Only the 11th disciple, St. John, died naturally at the old age. The other disciples, the other as apostles, they will suffer from martyrdom. They were willing to die to protect the faith in the resurrection of Jesus. Now think about this one. If they all, meeting in a room and say, now let us come up with something, a rumor, and spread around Jerusalem. And then, we'll make the people believe in Jesus. If we question that theory, we will see that doesn't stand. First of all, what is the purpose? What is the benefit they get from spreading that rumor? Nothing. Second, if that was a lie, when they face the persecution, especially the death, at least one of them has to say, no, they forced me to do that, right? But all of them were willing to go to death because they cannot deny the reality that Jesus did, resurrected. And they all witnessed by their own eyes. Do you agree with it? So put together the empty tomb, the appearance of Jesus, and the witness, the people who see him. We come to the very solid foundation that Jesus did really resurrected. And that brings me to this question. Face the resurrection, encounter the risen Lord, the life of the apostle will change. Look at Peter, the guy who denied Jesus 3 times, shaking in the room. Now went out to the public square and preached to the people. And you know what? His first homily ever converted 3,000 people. The first speech that Peter did converted 3,000 people. Imagine that? And what did he preach about? I believe that, don't forget, the first book, the New Testament, was written around the year 50, 20 years after Jesus ascended into heaven. I believe that Peter was just telling his own personal experience about the Lord. Something like this. I was fishing on the lake, and Jesus passed by, and he performed a great miracle with a great load of fish. And I was so attracted to follow him. And remember that he said this, and I said that. He said that the Son of Man will have to suffer. And I said, no, that's not going to happen. And probably in the lowest voice, but yeah, when he suffered, and he denied him 3 times. Probably going to tell that part too. But he said, you know what? Even then, Jesus still forgave me because he made me the head of the apostle. And he gave me another chance. And now here I am telling you the true story. And that probably the message that changed the heart of the people. The first Christians, The first group of Christians, they did not see Jesus by their own eyes, but they looked at the lives of the apostles and they hear their story. They converted. Do you agree with it? And that will bring us to the same place. If you and I today believe in the resurrection of Jesus, our life going to have to be changed. We're going to have to be like the apostles. Make sense to these people who are going to be baptized and converted tonight. We're going to have to tell them the story of the resurrection of Jesus, or who Jesus is, not only by words, but by our own life. I don't mention the name, but I can tell you, there's a person sitting in the church today. She converted to marry her husband, but after that, something happened. Because her faith gets deeper and deeper. I don't mention the name. You can look around like 8 times tonight. I will say faith times tonight. But of course, by our own testimony of life, people see and realize Jesus is real. Jesus resurrected. And sometimes we have to meet our chests. Because sometimes we did not show that. Let me tell you that sad story that I heard a few days ago. There was a person in the parking lot of the Rosalie Church, who mentioned the name. And that person told me that he is a Buddhist. And he told me that this returned after 30 years. And he said that 30 years ago, I came to this church because my dad was a Catholic. So when we escaped Vietnam, we went to this city, and my dad told me to go here and look for a Catholic priest. So as I parked the car in the parking slot already, and there was another person came in, and that person just like hit me. And then there was a big argument, a big fight happened. And that person went into the church and called out more people, and they were screaming at me. And I left the church that day. And this is my second time, after 30 years, come back to the Catholic Church. And I still don't want to become a Catholic. A deep wound because of the rejection of someone back then. But that wound lasted 30 years. Isn't it so sad? But don't you agree with me that in our life there are many times we did it? I don't know you, but I do now. And my part too. I didn't have some part like that. So celebration, the resurrection of the Lord today, will give us the strength, the courage to relive that joy, that hope, the real hope, that our life is not only here on earth, using the word of the gospel. We live on earth, walk on earth with eyes in heaven. Hopefully with that we can treat each other better. We can show the love that Jesus showed us. Amen.